Hey everyone, welcome back to Couch Gossip, where we get comfortable and dive into the hot topics of our lectures. I'm Amber and I'm joined by my amazing team, Sisanda, Ren, Star, and Ratzi. With the spread of digital media, I think it's important to understand XR and how it works. For those who don't know, XR is extended reality, which is anything that blends reality and the digital realm. Under that, we have MR, VR, and AR. MR is mixed reality, the hybrid of VR and AR, where digital and physical meet in real time. VR, however, is a video projection in a 360-degree space, allowing the visitor to enter the simulation through a head-mounted display. Now, let's talk about AR, also known as augmented reality, specifically out there. AR is when you present a digital asset through a device in real time. Y'all remember we did this in class?
Oh yes, guys. I'm so glad we're speaking about Out There and how it revolutionizes musical theatre.
Exactly. Because of its beautiful animation and seamless blend between reality and fiction, we see how the AR enhanced the story. This is why it was so easy for me to love. Did you guys like the AR experience?
Most definitely, yes.
Okay, so the general consensus is that we liked the AR. The blending of 2D and 3D animation within the physical space was so captivating visually. I think for most of us, we felt like it was really immersive and we were given the opportunity to explore the environment. I mean, I really liked the beginning when she asked if I still had my powers. I instinctively raised my hand and there was glitter. It felt kind of magical to me. It definitely felt engaging watching the narrative unfold.
Interesting observation, and I can agree that the element of sound was nice too. The restricted movement in the shared space made it hard to fully immerse myself though. Like, I was standing still, which limited my ability to explore the environment, and I was aware of others in the room. This diminished the sense of personal space in the experience, and at times, I felt disconnected from the story. The physical constraints took me out of the otherwise immersive AR world.
Okay, I get it. So why is the particular AR experience so informative and brilliant?
Out There shows the power of AR in creating immersive experiences. The real world is blended with the digital universe by enhancing the story and opening new possibilities for audience engagement. The AR integration created a new sense of presence and emotional depth that we just don't get with traditional media. This is how the story comes alive in a way we've never experienced before.
I think it's really important to understand the content about there, especially for the listeners who didn't get to experience it.
I've been dying to talk about it. The 4-minute experience Out There was composed by Poland Music together with Vanessa William and presented at Comic-Con Paris in 2019 by Thibaut Matthew along with his company Wilkins Avenue. The experience features Liv, a young girl who is confined to a room and longs to explore the outside world, making the room the setting of the story world. It is after dreaming of flying away upon seeing birds in one of the paintings in the room that the family portraits come to life in song. She knows that this is a sign that her time has come for her to leave and explore the great beyond outside of the four walls.
It was created to give a one-of-a-kind, groundbreaking, and innovative experience. When one enters the space, they feel transported into another dimension filled with shapes and bold colors.
Most definitely. As a visitor, I was able to engage with the pop-up on the head-mounted display to select when the AR musical experience could begin. This was an interesting point of interactivity. Another aspect of interactivity is the exceptional sound design. I also loved the part when Liv occasionally looked in my direction to address me. This was a powerful tool to maintain engagement, heightening the level of immersion because I felt closer to the world.
Wow, that's so interesting, guys. The themes explored in this XR experience go beyond just visual and auditory stimulation. They delve into profound emotional and existential territories. The sense of identity and self-discovery was particularly striking. Being addressed directly and seeing myself covered in glitter made the experience feel deeply personal, encouraging introspection about my own inner magic and potential. Additionally, the blending of reality and imagination blurred the lines between the real and the virtual, immersing me in a world where anything felt possible.
Okay, so this is why Out There is an example of augmented reality that pushes the boundaries of traditional musical theatre. Here, AR is used not just to enhance visuals, but to create a complete immersive environment. Liv, the digital asset, sings and twirls around the real room. This gave me the ability to interact with the environment and the performers. The AR layer interacted with the real world and used spatial sound and mapping to make visitors feel part of the story, just like with any XR experience, where movement influences your experience.
Alright, so do we think that the creators used AR effectively?
Ooh, good question.
Well, I do, but there's a learning curve. I had trouble navigating the experience because I didn't know how interactive it would be. Like, I honestly didn't know that I could move around and interact with the characters and environment until like halfway through. This is an important point because the level of immersion is dependent on how effective AR can be in a musical context.
So true.
The visuals were really striking though. They blend well with the physical space and almost felt tangible to the point that I felt uncomfortable. I found it overwhelming with the sudden appearance of Liv, the way she flew around, and the appearance of the simulated collapsing ceiling and floorboard. It left me a bit disorientated as so much was happening at once that I found it hard to understand what the musical was actually about.
Okay, but the sound design was a standout feature that I wish I noticed sooner. I didn't know the music was dynamic and changed based on where you were in the experience.
Oh, you're right. As I ran away from Liv, I did hear different parts of the music that made me feel as if I were physically within the song, the experience. This is something that the creators did well, since sound ties directly to the visitor's movement.
I do wonder though if the story could have been told in another way, like how the augmented environment shifts, how the visitors can interact with the performers, and the 360-degree environment. It wouldn't have had the same impact if it was in a theater or viewed on a screen. That extra layer of interactivity with the environment would just be gone, and visitors wouldn't feel as if they're part of the experience, you know?
Yeah, I hear you. If we were to tie this into the readings we've been doing, we could consider how Janet Murray talks about immersion being both a physical and psychological experience. Out There gives us both, since we physically can interact with the space and character. The overwhelming sensation of being surrounded by music and digital characters is a form of psychological immersion that traditional theater or even film can't achieve.
Right? Also, drawing from Thatiany and Andrade Nunes' work, which compares VR and non-VR experiences, Out There manages to create an intimate and immersive experience compared to conventional media. Nunes states, in non-VR media, there's a distance between the viewer and the screen. In VR, the viewer is bodily present and can choose where to look. The VR world contrasts with the worlds represented and viewed of documentary film. This idea of bodily presence and visitor agency aligns perfectly with the way Out There was designed. As we mentioned before, it allows us the agency over the space and perception, which creates a personalized experience for each visitor compared to traditional forms of media that we may all experience in similar ways.
This again aligns with Janet Murray's idea of active participation in a narrative. She states, "We do not suspend disbelief so much as we actively create belief." Because of our desire to experience immersion, we use our intelligence to reinforce rather than to question the reality of the experience. Out There forces us to do this, since we actively construct belief through our interactions with the environment. The simulated world is dynamic, and I found myself having to make sense of what I was seeing and how it aided the narrative.
So I guess there are key distinctions in the power of AR in a genre like musical theater. The interaction and physical presence visitors have in the experience is something that traditional linear storytelling formats just can't replicate. AR allows for an evolving experience where the visitor feels actively engaged, creating a sense of agency that transforms the storytelling process into something more participatory and immersive.
So, to wrap things up, what we've learned is that XR is an umbrella term for immersive technology that blends the physical and digital world. This includes VR, MR, and AR. Today, we specifically spoke about AR, which we experienced by watching the musical Out There. We believe that the narrative in Out There was portrayed quite well. The AR blended 2D and 3D animated characters that interacted with each other right in front of the visitor, which made the musical feel a lot more immersive. This enabled the visitor to interact in the AR, making Out There feel more immersive than your standard musical theatre performance. Our experiences were further highlighted by Mary and Nunes' quotes, mainly on how AR gives the visitor a more immersive and unique experience compared to other more conventional media formats. If you're interested in captivating animation and a rather immersive experience that blends the real world and the digital world, you should definitely watch Out There. We recommend watching it through a mounted display just so you can observe the musical performance interacting with your environment and with you a lot more.
And so our podcast comes to an end. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Couch Gossip. Be sure to check us out next week for the next lecture hot topic. Bye!